Well, I've been a little busy still trying to put together my little home shop here, moving everything from my classroom. So I built another workbench to put against the wall and put my belt sander and my drill press and things like that, along with this other table where I kind of assemble things. Got my Shopsmith over there. And I just recently picked up this 14-inch Grizzly bandsaw, which was just really awesome. I really got a great deal off Craigslist. My only snag here is in this little shop. I really need to move that thing around in order to get my table saw out and do other things. So I really needed some way to mobilize this thing. And so what I've got here, thought I would give this a shot, is the Central Machinery Mobile Base from Harbor Freight. It lists for about 39 bucks, but with a 20% coupon, that knocked about, what, $8 or something like that off. So, thought we would put this thing together, and I would sort of give it a review. I haven't messed with it at all, so the first time opening it up here, and this is what it's going to look like when you open it up. Some of it's assembled, some of it's not. You do have to provide your own hardwood or stretchers. If you see right there, that's up to you, and that is a 1-1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch strip of wood, depending on how wide your base is. That's a really odd size, so I ended up having to rip some wood down, which I wish I could have just gone to the store and bought some kind of standard stock, and it would make this quicker. So anyway, I'm gonna start putting this thing together, and I'll try to give you a little update on how it's going through the process. Alright, so I've sort of opened some stuff up, got my 4 corners spread out, just wanted to kind of get a feel for how it was going to go together. And looking at the instructions, and pretty typical of Harbor Freight and Central Machinery, is you get 3 teeny tiny little schematics on how to assemble this thing, and that is it, baby. You are on your own. Luckily, I think the picture is pretty clear on what we're supposed to do here. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I know a lot of people have mentioned that they feel they're shorted on the nuts and bolts for this, but then I've also read since that some people are putting all, 3 in each section, when really it's only calling for about 2. So maybe that'll work out, or maybe like them, I'll be going to the hardware store for about 6 more nuts and bolts. Okay, so as far as measurements, the first thing you'll really need to know is the size of the base of whatever machine you're going to be putting on this thing. This is my bandsaw, and mine measures about 19 inches this way by about 16.5 this way. And the important thing to note is one side of your mobile base is going to have rotating casters with the crank downs, you can see in that picture, to stabilize it, and then the other side is the non-swiveling wheels that will just be rolling in one direction. So which side you want that on your machine is up to you. I want mine on the back of the bandsaw. This is the side I think I'm gonna be scooting against the wall, and I think I need the swivel crank down levelers on the front of my bandsaw. So that's the direction I'm going. So the side that takes these is the 16.5 inch side. I want to give myself a little bit of room, so I'm going to say I want 17 inches of space here. That way my base has just a little bit of breathing room there, and I know it'll fit. And then cut it off right here, because you have to make room for this wheel. It's going to go in here, and it sticks out a little bit, and it's going to need room to spin at those corners. And the instructions, they don't really talk about that so much. Alright, and then what you're going to do is you're going to have to drill holes through, I'm thinking 2 of these, and these 2, and run your bolts through. Alright, so I've got the bolts in for one of my short sides. This is the back side where the two wheels are going to go. I don't have them bolted in yet because I still want my frame flat on the surface so I can put the other stretchers on. But I gotta say, after I tighten this up, that is pretty sturdy there. The bolts tighten up and at least squeeze that a little bit, so even if your wood did not fit in just super tight, know that those bolts are gonna strengthen that up. And for right now, I've only put 2 in each end. Gonna try to see if I can make my bolts last properly. Alright, so the wood stretchers are in and secured. The back wheels are pretty much done. These corners are finished. All I have to do is stick the wheels in and put the bolt on. Just leaving them off right now to keep everything flat. So now we're ready for the crank down stabilizers and the roller, the swivel caster wheels. The way that's going to work is this goes on first, and it's going to share a bolt on each stretcher. So you got a bolt going there, and then you have one coming here. The difference here is everywhere else you use this kind of bolt where it's smooth and then the threads are there. But there's 4 spots, 2 on each side here, where you're going to use these longer bolts. Okay, and that's going to go here and here. And so the corner stabilizer is using one of the long bolts, and then there's one without. And so what that is going to end up doing is making it not level here. So you're going to have that little raised area, and then you would have to put this bracket on here. So what you do is you have this spacer here, or a washer that comes with it, and that's going to go there, and that's going to level things back out for your swivel caster bracket to fit on there and then be bolted on. And that's pretty much that corner assembly, except for adding a wheel. Okay, so to install the swivel caster, you get 2 bolts for each caster wheel. You're going to screw that one down, then it's going to go up through the hole, and then you're going to tighten this last one down, and then you'll repeat on the other side. And I already have this one installed here, and you can see that's tightened down, the wheels turning, got the crank down, you have your adjuster for your stop point wherever you want that to stop. Alright, the wheels are in and spinning freely. I did put a little bit of white grease on the bolt to give it a little bit of lubrication there, so it's going to keep on spinning for me. Everything seemed to work out okay so far. I haven't put my saw on it, obviously. I'm going to have to get some help for that. But I do want to talk about the bolts for a second as far as how many I got. I ended up using, like the instructions said, 2 here, 2 here, even though there's a spot for 1, and 2 here, and 2 here, even though there's a spot for 1. And I ended up with exactly what I needed. Well, all the parts are off the workbench, and that means my bandsaw is sitting on the completed mobile base. Take a look at that thing. You can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. This is the swivel caster side with the screw down stabilizers, and over here are the non-rotating wheels. I gotta say, this thing is pretty awesome. Pretty happy with it. This bandsaw was really a hoss to move around. I got a really small little shop here, and when it's time to pull the old shopsmith out to do something, moving the bandsaw was just a real pain. So now with just one hand here, look how easy. I mean, I'm pushing this thing around like it's an office chair or something. Rotates really well. Can position it anywhere I want. For me, this is a good buy, and I'm going to recommend this Harbor Freight mobile base for my purposes, and maybe for yours. So there you go.